What's going on, y'all? Straight to the point. Now, earlier today, Little WEEZY, aka Little Wayne, he pretty much had made a statement that quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, will surpass Aaron Rodgers as the best quarterback ever to play for the Green Bay Packers, or at least he'll surpass Aaron Rodgers' greatness. And what do I say to that? Man, he is absolutely right. barring that he doesn't have any injuries or any health issues, and he continues to sustain the level of play going forward. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the beginning, I wasn't sold on Jordan Love at all, especially the way he started off, especially this year, and he really didn't play that much, especially like that first season. He didn't even really hardly play. Second season, I was like, whatever. I kind of brushed him off. But this year, this is when I really started to pay attention to him. Now, he struggled in the middle of the season, okay? And for those of y'all that don't know, the reason why I'm talking about this is because Jordan Love is getting ready to face their rival, which is the San Francisco 49ers. It's still a rivalry game, whether people want to see it or not, okay? Still a rivalry game, especially when you have it's kind of an underdog and a David and Goliath type of matchup, which is what they were faced with when they took down the Cowboys. I'll get to that in just a second. But the thing about it is also Lil Weezy is a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. And having said all of that, when I watched Jordan Love and them, going through the trials and tribulations that he had went through, Jordan Love really, he surprised me a lot, and more importantly, it was his mental capability to keep going. They lost three in a row. They had, I know they went on a 4-game stretch where they went like 1-4 or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, man, there is no way that they're going to make the playoffs, because they ended up losing they lost to the Raiders, they lost to the Broncos, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they lost to the Chargers, but I'm not too sure. I have to go back and look at that. And then they ended up winning the game or something like that, and then I think they lost to like the Steelers or something like that. I just remember them going 1-4. I didn't keep up with Green Bay that much. But where I started to really pay attention to Jordan Love is when I looked at his numbers. I looked at Jordan Love's numbers, particularly the QBR. And what I noticed, I think it was roughly the last 6 or 7 games of the season, which includes just this last game, Jordan Love went on a tear. Now, right now, so far, he has it's a 32-11 passer to INT. Man, that's damn good. Okay. And then also, he's in the hundreds somewhere as far as the QBR. Now, I'm talking about within the last couple of games. Now, overall, I think he was in the 60s in terms of his QBR. But he was putting up QBR numbers like 109, 111. I think one time he was in the like 90s or something like that. Then he bounced right back. He was at 113 and continuously going up. He went the last two or last three, they were at 120, then 128, 125, 128, and then he established a record and a record-setting QBR or passer rating of 157.2, which was historic because the only other person that was able to do that was Bart Starr, and that was in 1967. Okay, so you're talking about a guy that made history, and then on top of that, what really made me start paying attention to is because he knocked out. He was the first, or Green Bay was the first team to knock, being a 7th seed, to knock off a 2nd seed in the playoffs. Never been done before, and they did it. Jordan Love did it in Cowboy Stadium on the biggest stage. Now, if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. And on top of that, I'm rooting. He's African American brother still. You know what I'm saying? And this is the whole nother video that I'm gonna make. But I'm happy about the amount, the taking over of the quarterback by our African American brothers. Look, and I want people to know this, man. Ain't no racist bone in my body at all. You know what I'm saying? I want to make that clear. But, hey, I love the fact that the QBR is, experiencing a changing of the guard, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point, they looked at us African Americans as not being able to play that position. We weren't cerebral enough. They all thought that we were all about athleticism and that's it, no brains. I mean, it is what it is. But I'm happy with what Jordan Love is doing this season, and he finished strong. Now, if he can beat the 49ers, hey, this is going to be huge. Now, they already got somewhat film on him. I want to see how he responds after this year. You know what I'm saying? Because the only people that I know that were able to respond the way that they did right after a real good year and be consistent was Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, can't think of anybody else right off the top of my head, that was, being consistent. I mean, you could throw, Lamar Jackson in there because he did win an MVP. But the thing about it is Lamar had some issues with the front office and the coach, the team putting weapons around him, as I had mentioned in a previous video about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And of course Josh Allen too, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just every quarterback. I'm not just talking about African American quarterback. But yeah, Josh Allen has been consistent, coming back year after year in that primary position. And look, man, you're gonna struggle. I mean, that's what it's about, but it's how you bounce back and it's how you respond. And you are playing, for the Green Bay Packers. That's still a historic franchise, and they have a lot of fans. I think Green Bay, the Packers, sometimes they look at the Packers, they kind of don't put them in the same class as the Dallas Cowboys or the 49ers, but Nah, you have a lot of Packers fans, and they're a championship franchise. Okay, whether people want to believe it or not, they bought championships there. So we're not talking about like the Detroit Lions or anything like that, in which now the Detroit Lions are getting ready to possibly make history. I hope not, because they're playing against us. But anyways, look, Jordan Love, I like what he's doing. Let's see how he does against the 49ers. This is going to be a good test for him. Y'all let me know what you think, man. Can Jordan Love do the unthinkable? Taking down a number 1 seed and making it to the NFC Championship. Leave your comments. I'll get at y'all.